Okay, so based on the article that we have already done, which is the opinion piece up here, that think taxing electric vehicle use is a backward step, we have copied and pasted the table from here to below here, and we're going to fill in the table for Monday. This needs to be completed before class on Monday, where you will be joining Mr. Lucas's class and we will be writing a paragraph using the same table. So all three classes have done the same table. So first off, argument one. It's exactly as above. If you haven't read the article, please do so. While the initial reaction to the EV tax is negative, the long-term benefit will outweigh the short-term impact. Cars in general are the problem, not just those that have high emissions. So the key language devices that we picked up were things like the word but. It's what's called a loaded word, and it adds emphasis to countering the argument. Superficially is again another word which critiques or creates a sense of unimportance to the counter-argument. Rhetorical questions, subtle use of language to convey that arguments against the EV tax are simplistic and superficial. All right, so picking up keywords is really important. It's one of the main things that sort of separates the llamas from the alpacas. I don't think that's even a turn of phrase, but let's go with it. We need to see that you can identify language that has, remember how I used the word connotation? That has meaning in it. So something that has a lot of meaning or implies something, you need to be able to identify that language. All right. So then we talk about the intended effect of that. The author wants readers to understand that all vehicle use, including EV use, causes environmental damage. I would actually take that further, and I would say using language which implies that the impact of the tax, not text, is superficial, will encourage the reader to believe that the insignificant amount of tax has long-term benefits which outweigh the impact on the minority group. All right, so you take it a little bit further there. A topic sentence for this could be, the author begins by acknowledging the arguments against the EV tax while stating that those arguments do not consider the hidden costs of car use. I would then, if this was like an essay, my next sentence would actually just be expanding that a bit to explain effect as well. What is the point of this argument? This argument helps the author by presenting a logical perspective which is respectful of the opposing opposition, but also presenting a view which is reasoned and justified. Right? So you just expand it a little bit more. All right. So what I have done, I say I write a lot. That must be my tag, interrogative tag. All right. So argument 2 I've given for you, cars are congesting the city's roads, which will increase the demand for more roads, resulting in further negative environmental impact. They're making cars more affordable, more people will buy them and then use them, thinking they will not have as much impact on emissions. Now you need to what you're going to be doing for the rest of this lesson is you're going to go through each section, which is chunked for you. If you've not done this yet, you can always watch the video that I put up on link, all right, where I videoed me chunking it for you. All right, so here's number 2. Read through it and find that core language. I've highlighted a fair bit for you. You just have to add it into this section here. And then I want you to think about intended effect. Now, I've done this in full sentences. That's me. If you would like to dot point, I would like you to dot point. That's totally fine with me. You can dot point. Okay? And then you're going to do the same thing for argument 3 and argument 4. Do we want to give argument 2 a go together? When I say together, it means you guys have to speak. Having been met with silence, I am going to let you continue working. I'll be available by email if you need me. I will also be checking over these and giving them a little bit of feedback if necessary. Please email me if you've got any questions. Once again, the most important thing, the reason I made this bright yellow, this is where I really care. This is what I want you to be focusing on. All right. What is the intended effect? So effect is taking, there's two types of looking at effect. First is superficially, which is ironic because that word. And that's where you say something like, when you ask a rhetorical question, it leads the reader to think about the alternative view. All right, that's what the device does. What I want you guys to do is to take another step. So what is it they're actually asking them to think about? So by asking a rhetorical question, the author is leading the reader to think that it is a good idea to introduce electric cars at a higher rate. Full stop. This then leads the reader to see the impact that increasing cars would have on society due to the following arguments. All right, so it's being really specific about it. So don't just give me the superficial or the overall gist of what that language does. So negative emotion, and like an attack makes them feel negative. Emotional appeals makes them feel emotive. Guys, be really specific about the article itself. All right. Any questions, please email me.